So I've brought out quite a few different options for you to try on in regards to your female superhero costume. We have Batwoman, we have Jane Foster Thor, we have Spider-Gwen, or Spider-Woman, depending on which variation you want to go with. We have Froppy, we have Gravity, we have Emma Frost, or I think she's Ice Queen or so in the X-Men, and we have Harley Quinn in a hula outfit. So this video is going to be the My Hero Academia body image one about the women and the girls. I already did the men and boys, and this one's going to be talking about the women and the girls throughout the series, the different types of outfits that we see them wearing and such like that in regards to their costumes, or just kind of how like their body image is portrayed in the series. Now, in the manga, there's like slight differences here and there, of course. In regards to sometimes the way that Horikoshi draws things in the manga, draws some of the girls in the manga. Sometimes they have just a little bit more meat on their bones in certain cases. And then in the anime, they slim them just a little bit. So yeah, I will remark on that now. And I'm just kind of going to go through some of the different, like, you know, the women, you know, the female heroes that we see throughout the course of the series, the ones that we've seen so far. Some of the more major ones are the ones that are some of my favorites in regards to the image that they portray, not just their body image, but also the hero image that they tend to give off. I mean, overall, most heroes, their goal is to be like, you know, like this, you know, this protective type of vibe that, you know, people are able to trust them and, you know, that they're protective and they're there to save people and help people and such like that. But then other ones, of course, you know, they all have like their own different variations of like how they do that. So let's just kind of start at the top of the list. The highest ranking female hero that we have met in the series so far is Mirko, Moon Bunny. She is the highest ranking one. She is the top, the number 5 top hero and the highest ranking female one, as I just said. Her quirk is, I think, just like bunny or something like that, something along those lines, where like her legs are like where her quirk lies, and that allows her to just jump around so much, and she has extremely strong legs. She's extremely fast, and she's just kind of a badass in all honesty. And you know, she, you know, more, you know, we saw her a little bit throughout the course of the most recent anime stuff in the anime and such. We see her a little bit like at the Billboard Awards when they first introduce them, and then she shows up at the end of the fight after like Dabi attacks, you know, Endeavor and Hawks with the Hood Nomu. She shows up there and like kind of like takes out some of the you know, other Nomu that were created and gets rid of them and such like that. There's also been, I think it was someone that works on Horikoshi's team that did some different drawings and sketches and just like beautifully drawn artwork of Mirko in some different outfits by Cardi B. And I've seen the outfits, I've seen the pictures. I'm not going to put them in here because I don't want to worry about copyright as much as I can with the, you know, just using the anime images. But I very much liked what they did with those. I'm like, I just like Mirko. She's just awesome. And she's like this like independent hero to a degree. Like she doesn't really have an agency. She doesn't really like to team up with people that much. We do learn a little bit more about her backstory in regards to like in Vigilantes and one of the more recent arcs in Vigilantes and like the underground fighting ring arc. We saw that she at one point like portrayed like the Tiger Bunny character at one point as like an alias at one point to like help Knuckle Duster and some of the other characters at one point. So we've seen her a little bit there, and you know, for some of her past. But you know, more recently in the manga, of course, during the whole you know Liberation Army War arc, she was a big player in that in regards to taking out a ton of the Nomu and attacking the hospital and such. So and unfortunately, she got quite a bit of injury, but I'll be going over those a little bit more in the next video in regard to body image when I go over like the different injuries that a lot of the different heroes have. The dog is at the door. I had to fix them after the dog's on the bed. Dog. Back to the video. So we see Mirko a fair amount a little bit more recently. The next one that I had on the list is Ryuko, is the giant dragon hero. Of course, she's the second highest ranking female hero. She's number 10, or at the last Billboard, she was number 10. She is, of course, the hero that Sue and Achako and Nejire all intern under. They all do their work studies with her. She seems to like them very, very much. Her quirk is basically dragon, where she gets extremely large and turns into a dragon. And Mirko's outfit tends to show off her legs quite a bit. I didn't mention this, but her outfit tends to show off her legs quite a bit, which makes sense. That's, part of what she does. It makes her extremely maneuverable. For Ryuko, her outfit is designed to change with her size. Same thing with like Mount Ladies, of course. But Ryuko's also is designed to where she can shift in and out of her dragon form in the costume, and it shifts with her. It changes sizes or shifts enough with her. So kind of like the way that Luffy's clothes shift when he uses his Gumbo Gumbo powers. In One Piece, with the way that their clothes change. But what we see with Ryuko, of course, is she's also this extremely, badass, female character that she, uses her quirk that way. We also see her a little bit more in her, like, normal day-to-day clothes. I know Horikoshi has done, like, sketches of the different characters and, like, their hero costumes and, like, their civilian costumes. And, like, for the students, them in their, just their, school costumes, of course. But we haven't really seen too much of, like, a bunch of the heroes in their civilian clothes. Those would be a little bit nice to see. But we do see that they have that aspect to them, that is part of, who they are. And so, Ryuko, her quirk is dragon. She gets extremely large, and she is just kind of, her outfit kind of like, kind of shows that off a little bit, allows her to, have that. It's not extremely revealing. I mean, she has like a slit up the side of her dress and such, but she also has, she's also quite strong, and like that slit's there from when she changes into her dragon form, so she can like kick out of it and everything. And I'm sure she put a lot of like thought and work and development into like getting the costume exactly the right way, which of course, in regards to when I go over more of the students, I'll go over that a little bit more. In regards to like developing their costume. But I can also point it out here with the next hero that I have here on the list, and that is Midnight. So, Midnight. Midnight. You will be missed. That's gonna be hard to watch in the anime, with what happens with Midnight. But with Midnight, of course, her outfit as a whole, it's very sexy and revealing. And literally, like, last night before I recorded this video, I described Midnight to one of my coworkers who's like my parents' age, and I'm like, well, she's a hero and she wears a dominatrix outfit. She's also their art history teacher at the high school, and his answer is, so she wears that outfit around teenage boys. Yes. Well, I can tell you that they're not thinking about art history at the time. Well, Bakugo probably is. Tenya probably is. Mineta might be a little bit more of a maybe not paying that much attention. Same thing with like Denki at times. May not be paying super attention to what she's saying, but most of the rest of the class probably is. And I would assume that in regards to that after like a certain amount of time, you might get a little bit more like, oh yeah, she's wearing her outfit again. Yeah. Just concentrating on work, just concentrate on your homework and everything. So, that's probably the way that it does get to at some point when in regards to like Midnight and like her teaching style and everything like that. Of course, she has her whip that she uses. And, I'm sure at some point I wouldn't have been surprised if she like had like a Cat of Nine Tails style whip where it's like 9 different whips on the same thing that she just like whips around and everything. And of course, her quirk, that, allows her to, rip her costume and like, reveal like a ton amount of her pheromones that then put people to sleep and everything, the way that her quirk works. We see that a fair amount throughout the series. We see her, rip her costume at various points in time, when she's fighting against Mineta and and Sarah during their final exam, when she's the referee at the sports festival, particularly when she has to like knock Bakugo out so he doesn't, try to beat Shoto's face in. So we'll see what happens with that a little bit more in regards to, that's the way that her quirk is designed to work. We see her use it a little bit more for different things in regards to during in Vigilante. She's used it a couple of different ways there, where she will, the dog is staring at me, where she will, use her quirk to like put a large group of people to sleep at any given time to like distill a situation and everything. And I pointed out the fact it was like, in regards to what her quirk is, if like there's like a hostage situation and like you just can't get through or you just can't cause make anything stop, you just release like a huge burst of her quirk through like the ventilation system and it would knock out the people inside. And then, depending on stuff, it would, knock out the villain or so, and then you're able to then get inside and stop them. She's also very good, like she's used her quirk at times to like put someone to sleep, of course, but also like if they're in a huge amount of pain, she's used her quirk to make them go to sleep so that way they can then try to deal with the pain. So a little bit like an anesthesia to a degree. And we know that she tries to use her quirk quite a bit when, of course, they have to fight Shigeru Tamakia. She, that's kind of one of the reasons that she dies, unfortunately. But she does that. And we do see at one point that, and I'm just going to go into Mount Lady here, and then I'll talk a little bit about their interaction with each other. So Mount Lady, her quirk is, of course, gigantification. She gets very, very large when she activates her quirk. I don't remember how tall she gets, but she can get extremely tall, like taller than a building. And she's, with that power, she's quite strong and everything like that. It enhances her power by making her get bigger. Puppy check-in. Puppy. Hi. He's like, Mom, why are you doing this? But, she uses her quirk to take out large villains, and she's, very helpful in regards to, she's trying to, wear down Shigeru Tamakia and such like that. Because I would assume also, like, she, gets extremely tall and everything because she, gigantifies herself, that she also gets quite heavy in regards to that. Just because it, increases her body mass, it would make her quite large and make her quite heavy in the process. And her costume changes with that. So her costume itself is not extremely revealing in regards to, like, it doesn't show off a bunch of skin, but it is very skin tight. And, we see this, in regards to her outfit, and she also uses, like, her, seduction techniques at times where she, like, flirts with someone in order to get food or, literally the first thing she does after she, when we meet her at the beginning of the series, she, knocks away the giant villain and everything, and then she, knocks him out, and then she, like, stands and poses for, like, the camera with, like, like a sexy pose and stuff like that because, it's like, get all the media attention and stuff like that. Get that attention on her. And so we have that with Mount Lady. She's also, she's a bit vain about her looks. She is also, she also understands that her looks will also help in regards to, she can use her looks to help her sell things, sell merchandise and stuff like that because she has a fair amount of debt that she has to pay, unfortunately. And so, she has to have, she builds money up that way and everything by that, selling merchandise that way. And, we have this interesting dynamic that we see between her and between Mount Lady and between Midnight. And this comes into play when they're both on a TV show where they're talking about kind of the subject that I'm talking about like, skimpy hero costumes. And they end up having this, conversation on air where, Midnight's like, well, my costume, the very thin lycra that I have that I can rip easily and then release my quirk, when I first debuted as a hero, we see her much more revealing outfit that she had when she first debuted. And, you can understand why that would not, even though she's the R-rated hero Midnight, and in Vigilantes, if you just look at, her when she's in high school, puppy. If you just look up, pictures of, Midnight from, Vigilantes, you see her wearing even a more revealing outfit. And, like, I'm assuming that, like, censorship codes for costumes were kind of created because of her, or at least, at the very least, more enforced because of her. And that's why she still has, like, her kind of revealing-ish outfit, but she also has, like, it's made of the lycra that she can very easily rip and then, release her quirk that way. And she still has her whip, and she, of course, still has her very sadistic side that comes out. But we see, Midnight and Mount Lady kind of have this back and forth on the interview because, Mount Lady even says like she did look up to Midnight, but she also pokes fun at Midnight's age and the two, fighting and everything during the televised interview. And, so we get some interesting things of that. And Midnight is actually quite calm in front of the camera and everything like that because she's been doing that for quite a while. But then, of course, she is a little bit older than Mount Lady. Nothing against that. I loved both of them. But I just find that funny when it's just like, oh, well, I looked up to you so much when I was growing up. You've been a hero for so long. Midnight, I will find a way to destroy you and no one will ever find your body. It's like the look on Midnight's face at times. And then, of course, when, we see the two of them together again, when Mount Lady shows up to help with, like, the media class. So we get the two of them together there, which is kind of funny. Moving on down the list to a much less sexy hero, but she still is fun. We have Miss Joke. Her quirk is, laughter type thing. She can make someone laugh, and then she tends to punch them out after she makes them laugh. She is a teacher at one of the other high schools, one of the other hero high schools, that the group interacts with when they go for their license exam. And her and Azawa have a bit of a history together. And like her costume isn't revealing or anything like that, but she uses her quirk to be able to then take out people, take out villains and such like that, like she's supposed to. She's probably also quite good at using her quirk to, kid's scared. I need to kind of get the kid calmed down. Oh, make the kid laugh and then help them calm down a little bit more. That's a good way of doing it. So she's probably quite good at that. Or like if a kid's having a panic attack to a degree, she can probably use her quirk to at least kind of help, even them out and calm the kid down. So that way they can, get the kid to safety or something like that. Or in regards to like anybody else that's having that type of a thing, she can like use her quirk to help calm them down. We haven't really seen too much else of her. We see her like in the crowd at the sports festival, and then motorcycle. There's a motorcycle outside. We see her in the crowd at the sports festival, and then we see her, of course, again, her more formal introduction, as I said, is during the license exam, where she, her and Azawa kind of, talk back and forth and kind of, rib at each other, and she keeps talking about, come on, Azawa, when are you going to marry me? And I'm just like, no. I like you, but no. Because, like, they are complete opposites to a degree. And then to the next one, I have Uwambi, who is the hero that has, like, the snakes in her hair that Momo and Kendo did their internship with. I do like her. She is very beautiful. She's a very beautiful hero. That's something that she uses, of course, to her advantage. And I'll say this here, because I don't know if I've said it yet. I don't blame the female heroes for using their beauty to their advantage. Sometimes you do have to do that to make someone underestimate you, and then you can kick their butt. That's just kind of the way that some of them, I think, tend to work. But I don't blame them for, using their, physical appearance to, sell products because it gets, sell merchandise or whatever. I don't see a problem with that. It's more just, oh, well, I'm already pretty, so why shouldn't I sell cosmetics? Or like she, like Omabe sells, the hairspray and stuff like that she does in the commercial. And, she does photo shoots and she has lots of fans that she does autographs for and such like that. But she also does take her job as a hero very seriously. And I used her in, like, the different aspects of a hero video where it's like, it's like, oh, well, we have this and we have this and we have this. in regards to, you know, the different aspects for that. For, you know, she's kind of the dog's moving. Hi, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go? You wanna come over here, or you wanna stay there? He's like, I don't know where to go. There are things on the bed, and I don't want them to fall. Let's see what the dog does. He's like, I can't get down on the other side area. Why is there a giant blue puppy on the wall? Alien puppy on the wall, Mom. Eyes will lay this maybe not. Swear to God, dog. Okay. The dog has settled. Back to this. Tilt the camera. There you go. Now you can see him a little bit more. There you go. But, you know, for her, it's, you know, for Uwambi, I think I'm pronouncing her name correctly. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But, you know, her quirk is, you know, very good for rescue, but she's also probably, you know, has trained herself in other ways and such like that. And a lot of other heroes, because of what we see in regards to not just, you know, UA, but also Shiketsu and the other high schools that we see, they also very much train their students in not just, you know, oh, you can use your quirk, that's fine, but you also need to be able to, like, physically be able to defend yourself, too. So she's probably able to physically defend herself as well. Then we move on to the Wild Wild Pussycat Girls, where, of course, we have Mandalay, Pixie Bob, and Ragdoll. Mandalay's quirk, you know, hers is, it's not detection, her quirk is telepathy. And then, you know, Pixie Bob's is she can, you know, create these giant earthen monsters within, like, a certain range of her. And then Ragdoll's is, of course, she can, you know, well, her former quirk at this point in time, her former quirk, is that she can, keep track of, like, so many people at any given time, depending on, like, their range from her. And, you know, Mandalay kind of has this more warm feeling and such like that, which I think kind of more comes from, like, she's, you know, she's around Kota and she's his main caregiver. Not that the other pussycat, the Wild Wild Pussycats, you know, Tiger and such, don't, not like they don't help her with that, but we see her with Kota quite a bit, and she's quite caring of Kota. And in the more recent stuff, you know, we saw them at UA. And then, of course, we have Pixie Bob, who is a little bit more, you know, she very much wants to get married and settle down, and, you know, she kept hitting on, like, Izuku and Bakugo, just like, don't you dare mention my age, and such like that, so she's just kind of fun in that way. And then Ragdoll is just kind of adorable and sweet, and very, you know, positive and everything like that, and, like, they get along with Tiger great. Now moving on to the students. So I'll just kind of, you know, work on, you know, start through class 1A and 1B in regards to where some of the students fall in regards to their outfits and the way that they tend to use them. Or the way that they've adjusted them over the years or so. I don't know, I'll say this too here. That's like the Pussycat Dolls outfits all kind of match, like the top and the skirt and everything like that. And, you know, they all have the ears, and those are just adorable. But there's also, you know, they have their, you know, they have like their claws that they use, of course, as well. And they're all obviously quite trained in physical, you know, fighting as well. So that's interesting there for that. Moving on, as I said, to the, you know, class 1A and B students, and, you know, Nejire, I think I threw Nejire somewhere in here. We have, Mina, Sue, and, Ochako all kind of have these kind of very tight outfits that they wear. And Ochako even states at the beginning when she first gets her costume and such, she states that it was like, I wasn't expecting it to be this tight. I didn't want it, I wasn't expecting the company that designed these to make them quite this tight and everything. But, you know, she seems to have gotten more comfortable with that. And Mina's is also, like, very colorful. Sue's is, you know, green and black, because those are kind of her colors. And, of course, Ochako's is, you know, pink and brown to a degree. I love Ochako. She's adorable. And they have theirs costumes and such. And then we have Jiro, Kendo, and Setsuna. Kendo and Setsuna, of course, from Class 1B. Their outfits are a little bit more on the cool side and such like that. Like Jiro, hers is, like the leather outfit and the boots and everything. And, she doesn't really like show that much skin. And, Kendo doesn't really show a huge amount of skin either. But her costume is more designed, of course, for her to be able to physically move and fight in because, make her hands bigger and fists bigger, but also she's also a physical fighter. And, of course, Setsuna's costume is designed to probably like come apart the way that she is, the way that she does. Her costume, I don't remember seeing if they state this anywhere, but her costume might be stated to have been because like Mirio's costume is like made out of like either his hair or it's lined with his hair or something so that like it will it will permeate the same way he does when he goes through walls and stuff like that. Setsuna's costume might be similar to that, where like it will come apart with her, with the pieces that she creates and sends off when she, lizard tail splitter and splits apart. Then we have Momo, and of course, Momo's costume is quite revealing. It's the most revealing of pretty much any of the girls that we see at UA so far. And hers is, revealing for a reason, and we of course see this throughout the course of the series. It's revealing because of the fact that her quirk requires her to have, large amounts of body surface area showing so she can, materialize the different items that she needs. We see her materialize the different, the Russian doll, the Russian nesting dolls, or like, pull a sword out of her leg, or like a pipe or something like that she can use, like a steel pipe or so that she uses, that she forms out of her own fat lipids. And the other thing that I don't know if they've pointed this out too much with Momo, they've pointed out some in the fact that she has to like they point this out like at the training camp, she's eating quite a bit when she's trying to train, continuously eat while she's producing stuff to try to, increase her, probably like increase amount of what she can make and lower the amount of like fat lipids that it takes to create it. Because I don't remember if we ever get an exact ratio of like how much fat lipids are required to make something. Like, is it like a 1-to-1 ratio? Is it like a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-10 or something like that type of a ratio where like so many fat lipids will equal so much amount of item? I don't remember if we ever find out about that or not, and I could be wrong if they mention that somewhere. I apologize if I missed that, but I just find that, that she has that concept that she has to deal with. And of course, her costume is quite revealing, of course. And at various points, we also see her literally like open up her shirt and like stuff pops out, and pull apart her thing and stuff pops out. And I'm like, I really freaking hope, no offense, Momo, I love you, girl, but I really freaking hope that like you have something at least covering you the rest of the way when your costume gets pulled back. Possibly that might have been something she thought of later on, because at one point, because when they're in the USJ and they're attacked there, and Momo has to create this giant, like electromagnetic proof blanket that she creates to throw over her and Jiro, her costume rips apart. Because, they want Denki to do like a huge blast of electricity, and then they need, they cover up with the blanket while he releases that energy, that electrical blast and everything to take out a bunch of the villains. And, Momo's shirt, Momo's top rips in the process. And, and then later on, I think she uses the blanket to, like, wrap herself up or something, to cover herself because her outfit kind of got destroyed. But, since then, she's probably been like, okay, well, I need something to have as, like, a backup in case that happens again. Or, like, I need to be able to, like, do something in case I need to have to, like, produce another large item again that requires a large amount of surface area to create. So she's done some interesting things with that. And of course, like her winter outfit just like has her add like a cape. It's like a cloak that she can wear. But her outfit is that way for a reason. And also, she has to continuously have like a fair amount of food in her, because I'm sure her metabolism is possibly like a bit higher. Like when she uses her quirk, it makes her metabolism go up. Hi. He's like, I knocked it over the queen woman. The queen woman. Hi. I'm doing a video. He's like, yes, and they want to look at me now. You want to get down? Or you want to stay there? Okay. Back to this. The dog has left the room. But one of the other things that they, in regards to her quirk is that she has to have a fair amount of fat lipids on her at any given time. And I'm sure that she actually eats a fair amount. And after during the license exam, in between when they do the first part, the second part, we see her eating to get her, her energy back up and everything, because she kind of wears herself out with everything that she had to make. And, one of the things that they do show, I have to close the door. One of the things that they do show with Momo is that, and they show this a little bit more in the movies. They haven't shown it too much in the series, but a little bit more in the movies, where it's more like a do or die type of a situation. Because, it's like, oh, if you fail the license exam, it's just like, okay, I guess I got to try it again. In both of the movies that they've shown so far, don't know if we're going to see too much of Momo in the World movie that they're going to be doing soon, that they've started releasing trailers for, which I love, and look awesome. Because in the first one, in 2 Heroes 1 and then Heroes Rising, Momo has to use her quirk to the nth degree to make these different cannons and stuff like that, different ammo for the cannons, and she uses her quirk up quite a bit. And I think you actually see her chest get smaller. I'm like, well, that's where a fair amount of fat lipids are stored, is, in that area on the female body. So you see that I do think you see her chest get a bit smaller in those circumstances. And then we move on to Toru, Hagakure, Invisible Girl, who is pretty much naked most of the time. Yeah, naked except for her gloves and her boots. And I'm just like, oh, good God. She can't be the first invisible hero. She cannot be the first invisible hero. There has to be some other invisible hero out there that might just come up to her and say, okay, you can't just run around naked all the time. You need to have a costume of some kind. I apologize for the motorcycle again. I live 10 blocks from our stadium, and there's people going to a football game today, on the day that I'm recording this on the Saturday. Go Huskers. I don't know if we're going to win or not. I don't know. It's our homecoming game, if you want an idea for that. But one of the things that happens is, of course, with Toru is, she needs to possibly get a better way of, having an invisible costume, so that way she's not running around naked all the time. And so she's not so cold all the time. Then, of course, on the other side of that, we kind of have Ibarra, or Maria, or Vine is her current hero name, from Class 1B. She's the girl with all the vines in her hair and everything. I've talked about her before. Her aesthetic is kind of just this innocent, holy maiden type of an aesthetic and everything. And of course, Maria, that was her original hero name, is a reference to, of course, Mary, as in Mary, the mother of Jesus, is kind of where that comes in, because she does not have a holier than thou attitude by any means. No. That is not her attitude at all. But she has this very innocent and, innocent type, attitude, and just maybe we were punished because of something that or she's just adorable the way that she is. And, and I have a Pokemon named after her. Actually, I have 2 Pokemon that are named after her. Ibarra and Maria. They're 2 Venusaur. If you want this, go and check out the Pokemon My Hero Academia video that I did. And then we have Kanoko, Pony, and Kodai. Kaneko, who are all kind of a cute aesthetic, is kind of what I put. Kanoko is the mushroom girl, Shimage. She's the one that has, can, make mushrooms grow in a certain vicinity around her. And then, of course, we have Pony, who is Rockety is her. She's the girl with like the horns on her head, and she's, you know, the kind of the ponyish type girl. She's fun. From America, she's adorable. And then we have Kodai, who is Rule, is her hero name. She has the quirk that allows her to shrink things down to a certain degree. And they all kind of have this more like cute aesthetic. They don't have like revealing outfits to a degree. Like Pony has a skirt, but that's a little bit different. Their outfits aren't really all that revealing. They're just more on like the cute side is kind of where I put them. And then to go along with the, you know, we have like, you know, we have, I mentioned in the boys video, there's like the scary aspect of stuff, which is kind of like where, you know, Fumikage comes in and where, you know, Vanta Black comes in. We have the spooky side, and I'm recording this on like October 2nd, on, you know, to give you another date, you know, spooky Halloween. We have Rico, who is hero name is Emily, and you know, she's the one that can, you know, poltergeist. She can like make stuff move around after she's touched it. She can control it for a certain amount of time and make it move around, and like she kind of has like a spooky type aspect to her. And then we have Nejire, who is of course, you know, the girl that is, you know, friends with Mirio and Tamaki, and she can control the wavelengths or so that she can send out of her body and stuff like that, energy waves. And she's also, you know, friends with, you know, Sue and Achako in regards to being part of the, you know, being part of Ryuku's agency. She's also quite major in the battle that happens, like when they're fighting against the Hasaikai, and then of course when they're fighting against and during the most recent stuff in the manga in regards to the the previous arc in the manga, previous 2 arcs in the manga, where they're dealing with, you know, fighting against the Liberation Army, the Paranormal Liberation Army. She's quite you know, crucial in that, but her kind of aesthetic is most of the time she's very light and bubbly and happy, until you hurt her friends. Then she is scary, because you kind of see her go scary when like Sue and Ryuku and Achako were kind of being hurt at one point during the Yakuza arc, and she, you know, fights back and, you know, kind of is able to help take out one of the villains. And then of course you kind of see her get kind of scary again when she's having to, when they're trying to deal with, I think she kind of has to deal with Dobby at some point. And like you see her just like fight against them, you know, fight that way, and she can get kind of scary. But most of the time, she's kind of like light and bubbly and everything. She is a little bit of an airhead, but don't make her angry type of a thing. Because like the thing with all of these girls and all of the women and all of just the female heroes in general, and any of the other, you know, female heroes or female the girls in school that I haven't mentioned yet, they can all be. It's like, you make them angry and they are scary regardless of whatever type of costume or quirk or whatever they have, because you made them angry and they have a quirk that will allow them to hurt you one way or another, you know, because you hurt one of their friends, so they're going to try to stop you, or you're a villain, or whatever the case may be. They want to stop you because you are a danger to someone. And, you know, you threaten someone that they care about. And I'm going to throw this in here too, even though she's not a hero. We do see, you know, Izuku's mom can also be quite intimidating, considering she stared down All Might. You know, in regards to that, when he came and talked to them and everything about Izuku coming and living in the dorm, she stared down All Might. And I would not have been surprised. I mean, like a lot of the mothers, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I could see Mitsuki, you know, Bakugo's mom, you know, doing the same thing if that was the same case and everything. You know, they don't surprise me. You know, that's just the way that they are. But, you know, these girls do that. And then I did want to do a little bit more like the group things that we see some of that happens with the girls, mostly in Class 1A, because we haven't seen too much of this for Class 1B. Yes, I know that there's a thing where they did release different images of the girls in their swimsuits. Now, first off, I will point out that they do have kind of the obligatory pool episode in My Hero, where it's just like one of the first episodes of like I think the first episode of like season 2 or season 3 or something like that, where, you know, Denki and Momo or Mineta had like overheard the girls talking about like going and spending time at the pool at the school, and they're like, oh well, why don't we go and do that, and we'll bring Izuku because he's like one of the nice boys and he's not a pervert the way we are. And so they get Izuku and they go to the pool, and like Izuku's like, oh well, I told everybody else that we were going to be here because like all the rest of the guys are there, and instead of the girls being in their bikinis or whatever that like that Mineta and Denki thought they would be, they're all in like their school issue swimsuits, which is just hilarious. That's just funny. And they're just like, oh god, they're not in their bikinis, we failed. And then it's just like the rest of the episode is just like all of them swimming and having fun, and so we do get to see some of that. But then there was like artwork that was released of like in one of like the games or something like that they have, where we do get to see like the girls in their swimsuits. Hagakure has a bikini. A fair amount of them have like bikinis and stuff like that. Which, I mean, they're old enough to make that decision to a degree. And they're proud enough of their bodies. Go ahead. I don't remember if Sue had a bikini, but I think most of the other ones did. And such. Just, because those go with like their personalities that they show off and everything like that, because that's just the way that they are. And then of course we do, and I'll throw this in here, we also have the moment where Mineta is being the pervert, and he's trying to look through the hole in the wall in the girls' locker room that leads, in the boys' locker room that leads into the girls' locker room, and he's trying to peep on the girls, and we just have him being extremely creepy, and then he gets his eye gouged in by Jiro's earphone jack, and then the rest of the girls are just like covering themselves and everything, and like he just gets so just hurt and everything like that. I would like to hope that like either Izuku or like Ida went and like told like Izawa about the hole in the wall, and now just like every so many weeks or so, like maybe Cementos goes through and like double checks to make sure there's no holes in the walls between the different locker rooms to make sure there's no peeping going on. And then of course we have the moment where like where Mineta and Denki trick the girls at the sports festival into being dressing up like cheerleaders, and having Momo use her quirk to make their outfits, and they pretend to be cheerleaders and everything like that because they tricked him, because Denki and Mineta tricked them. So we have that moment, and of course we have the more individual pictures of them in their cheerleader outfits, which are actually quite nice. I don't mind them. They're not as revealing as some of the other cheerleader outfits I've seen. And then just to top it off, the last two things is when they're getting ready for the cultural festival, and they're trying to come up with all these different ideas of what they want to do for their cultural festival, for their thing. One of them was like, let's do a maid cafe, and like have all the girls dressed up as maids. That was funny. And then to top it all off, I will point out that yes, they did do a hot tub, hot spring scene when they were at the training camp arc. They have the moment where Mineta, tries to climb over the wall to look into the girls' side of the hot springs, and he gets knocked down by, Kota, because he's keeping guard, and then Kota looks over because the girls thank him, and the girls are all like naked and they're in the water and everything, and that's just funny. And then Kota just like falls off, and Izuku catches him and saves him, of course, so he's fine. But we have that and everything, so I do find that funny. I do find that funny. I don't know why I find that funny, but it was just like, hey, if hey, the whole logic is, sex sells, and, my hero is literally, it's a shonen manga. It's a shonen anime. It's for young boys. That's literally what it's for. So, yeah, it's not surprising that there are girls in it in, different types of outfits, or have, like, the larger breasts or whatever, which is kind of what Momo is, which I like how, I like how Horikoshi kind of threw that on the dynamic. That was like, not that other people that do like the shonen or even the the more sexualized comics or stuff like that, not that they don't make the females extremely smart and extremely strong and such like that, because Momo is the smartest one in the class. That is stated multiple times. But she's also the she's the bombshell girl, but she's also this like, oh, so you like me just for my body? Okay, then I'm just gonna prove to you how smart I am, and I'll be smarter than you, type of a thing. So we have that with her and everything. That's kind of also the aesthetic that she has. So there's not really too much else there with that. Most of the girls do just, they're getting more comfortable in their bodies, and like with the boys, we do see them getting stronger and stronger, making adjustments to their costumes, and the fact that they get control over kind of what their costumes look like for the most part, means that, like, oh, if they didn't like having like that amount of like that tight costume or that amount of skin revealed or something like that, they could very easily go in and, like, okay, I want less of this, more of this, show less of this, that type of a stuff. Or if they wanted to show more skin, they could do that. That's entirely up to them. I wouldn't be surprised if down the line, if Mina has a costume that's a little bit more revealing, once she's, graduated from high school, when she's graduated from UA, I wouldn't be surprised if she has that type of a costume. I hope at some point maybe they point at the fact, get, Toru into a costume that is invisible the way she is, and she can turn it on and off. Turn the costume invisible and invisible over, at different points in time, depending on certain circumstances. That would be nice. Also, at some point, it would be nice to know what Toru actually looks like. That would be nice too. And I will point this out here because in the most recent chapter, just after, just before this video came out, they did the reveal of some of the other, the big heroes, #1 heroes in all these other countries around the world, because some of them want to go and help with what's going on in Japan. And of course, because I can, the one that they have that's coming from America, the top hero from America, is female, and she's called Stars and Stripes, and her costume is literally just stars and red, white, and blue stripes, and she looks awesome, and I cannot wait to see what she looks like in full color and then in the anime. She just looks awesome, and I think she's just going to be amazing. At whatever point in time we get to see her, that'll be great. So we'll see what happens with that. So that's where that one ends, where this one ends. The next video in regards to my hero for this series is going to be, of course, the different injuries that the characters have incurred. So scars and injuries that they've taken over the course of the series that we've seen major things for the most part. Not like, oh, I got a tiny little scar or a scrape or something like that. No, more the major things, or things that show a major injury or represent a major thing that they did. So I'll be going over those in the next one in regards to this. I also have a few other videos in the works. So I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Bye! If someone runs away from me, screaming, my sadistic side starts to throb so much I can't help it.